How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Today, I'm excited to share Conan the Barbarian from Super7 in their Ultimates line. This is the WARPAINT version, the third Conan they've released in the line. And we're going to look at a comparison of the entire Conan collection today. Not a toy. Let's open it up. Conan the Barbarian. You see a little bit of the reflection there on the foil. Very cool. That is his dad's sword. Other side, we have the Atlantean. We have the Wheel of Pain. WARPAINT Conan, after surviving a crucifixion in the desert. Man, what a great scene that was. And then Subutai comes to save him. And a quick look at Conan inside of the package. All right, let's open it up. Wow, you know, I have all three of the Conans so far in the entire collection from Super7, and this right now, it might be my favorite out of the three. Despite how much I love iconic pose Conan and having the action figures pretty amazing, the camo here is really captured nicely on camera, at least from my angle right now, and the sheath along his backside, I'll show you that with the sword. It is definitely oversized. I mean, there's no question about it, but it is what it is. I mean, the Atlantean was a very large sword, and even in the storybooks and in the comics, Conan had an oversized, massive barbarian sword. So it is what it is. But he looks super awesome there, man. That is one badass rogue ninja thief, and he's looking like he's ready for business. And if you know the scene from the movie, I've swapped out some of the hands. So I have the sword gripping hand, and then I actually left the open hand on this side so we can do the other iconic pose. But he does come with an additional pair of fists. Very nice touch on the sword holding hand is that he has the vertical hinge. So the hand will go up and down for you. Pretty straightforward. Loincloth here. It is kind of soft. In the back, you have the little slot for the peg on the sheath, and it just plops right in there. You know, and it's a nice snug fit. And speaking of snug fits, the sword fits really snug inside of the sheath. And while we're here, we can admire the deco on the sword. This sword is the most metallic of all of the versions we've gotten so far, and it looks really, really cool. But you got the really detailed runes here down the center. Really nice, all the detailing all along the pommel, the hilt. Very, very cool. I mean, this is really, really movie accurate, sword accurate. The volcano here erupting, the waves, right? Because it's the Atlantean. Super, super cool. Looking at the boots. Same boots that we've seen several times at this point. I don't have a problem with that at all because, you know, they didn't have a lot of shoe choices back in the barbarian days, I guess. Close-up look at the first head portrait. And there is a likeness there because of the big jawline and the really strong cheekbones and that musculature around like the chin. You know, that really does kind of like evoke Arnold. But there's also something about the face that I can't, you know, maybe from that angle, that just does not look like Arnold. You know what I mean? There's something about it. So there's a little bit that's Arnold, and then there's a little bit that doesn't look like Arnold. At least in my opinion. You be the judge. Quick look at a side-by-side with the other head portrait. And this one has more of the screaming look with the gap between the front teeth there. But I think for today's posing, I'll probably use the less emotive face. Articulation-wise, you're not going to get much up or down out of the head. You're not going to get much wobble or tilt out of the head at all because of the massive neck, the huge chin and jaw, and the locks of hair on the sides. So you're not going to get a lot of turn either, but you can get a notch and a notch. The arms will give you 90 degrees at the armpit, rotation, single jointed, flexing elbow and wrist. That has the vertical hinge. On the sword holding hand, which is a swap out, very, very cool. It also comes with closed fists and talk to the hands, which will be great for that other iconic pose. We have the crunch, rotation, splits, rotation of the thigh, single jointed knee, a little bit of rotation or twist here, not full 360 degrees, but you'll get a little bit of something. Ankles, rocker. Standard articulation for the standard Ultimates Classic style buck on this figure, and that is pretty cool with me. Let's look at a few action poses in play. Then we're going to do a detailed comparison of the 3 Conans released, and then we'll bring out the entire Conan the Barbarian collection so far, all of the waves released by Super7. So let's do a quick action pose in play. All right, our first really chill, relaxed stance here with the sword. I am really digging that camo. It looks so tough. It looks so tough. That is awesome. Now, really quickly, the other iconic pose. Let's look at some angles. Boom! That's the one. Wow, man. I can hear the music in the background. Dun, 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 dun. Super cool. I am digging all of those angles. Boom! Dun, 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 dun. Look at that. I am feeling that. Yo, I love this figure. I love what Super7 is doing with Conan. I absolutely love it. All right. Let's try another action pose and play, and then we'll go into our Conan comparisons. Nice little close-up shot with him holding the sword and the blade directly down the center line of his face. Very cool, you know, like he did when he was doing the training and learning how to wield the sword and become a sword master. Very, very awesome. All right, let's jump into our Conan comparison. All right, so let's look at some Conans. These are the 3 Conans that we have so far in the line. Brian Flynn did mention in an interview a few weeks back that we're going to get more Conan figures, more characters from the movie. So that's really, really awesome. But from left to right, at least from where I'm sitting, we have the Pit Fighter Conan, Iconic Pose Conan, and the WARPAINT Conan. So kind of like following a progression or a sequence from the story in the film. So that's kind of cool. Each of the figures have in common the Wheel of Pain, which they're wearing a different variation of the necklace. This is a outfit armor piece that is actually sitting over the figure. But underneath, you got the same buck as the other 2. Close look at those 2 really cool weapons that I don't know the name of. Here underneath, you see the leather straps on his wrist with the horns. And that kind of like just slides right into his hand with a peg. And the Pit Fighter does come with an additional head portrait from that iconic scene where Conan is asked, what is best in life? And he's squatted with the crisscross applesauce legs. So very cool that you also get that head portrait with the Pit Fighter Conan. All right, thank you, Pit Fighter Conan. And let's take a look at the iconic poses from these 2 gents. A little side by side there of the 2 iconic poses. I'm definitely feeling WARPAINT. I think that WARPAINT just makes it look super tough. You know, especially knowing that he's on a revenge mission right there, you know. Swap sides. Very nice. Oh, I'm liking the way that looks. Couple of different looks at the guys there. The Iconic Pose Conan does not have the vertical hinge on his wrists, as you can see there. All right, so now we're going to bring out the rest of the Conan the Barbarian collection that has come out so far. And we'll bring back Pit Fighter Conan. And now we'll bring out the 3 baddies. Actually, there's 4. We'll bring out my demigod, Thulsa Doom. Very cool. I will bring out the first Thulsa Doom release, and this is the one that we see in the beginning of the movie with that totally badass armor, the twin daggers in the front. I will bring out Rexor and Thorgrim, our giants. It is so awesome to have Conan in the universe with all my other action figures nowadays, and having him sitting on my shelf or on my desk and being able to check it out from time to time and just kind of like appreciate the art from the movie in action figure form. Very, very chill. Super7, I love what you're doing. Please keep these guys coming, and hopefully one day we'll get Conan the Destroyer action figures. I'm all for that. As always, everybody, I'm having a lot of fun taking this time out to share these experiences. I hope you're able to keep coming back and share some experiences too. Until next time, everybody. Crush your enemies and see them driven before you. Enough talk.